A Generations recap for this past Tuesday. If you guys remember, Cass had left off with the bit of the jaw-dropping moment where Dr. Oma had came in and said they're gonna put me on trial for for malpractice, for like being responsible for Laku's death. What a ridiculous statement. Um, we picked up with that moment, and Miriam kind of shouted out, like, "What the heck?" Like, wait, really? Wait, I think Miriam was like, "Wait, really?" And I was like, "Well, that's just ridiculous." Like, and I walked Dr. Oma, who I'm assuming is just the messenger, through the process. I was like, this doesn't make any sense because everything I did, I basically ran through Dr. Amara, who put it up her chain of command because she was the liaison to you know between our team and like their organization or group or people or whatever you want to call it. And I was like, I explained the risk because we are at an end stage of this disease. And you've hit a complete wall as far as being able to progress with any kind of treatment. So I said like that there are going to be some risks associated with it, and I explained the cautions that I'm going to take and all this other stuff. So it's like the whole idea is absurd. And then the patient they give me is probably the most far along advanced in this disease, like the end stages of it. Beyond that, when he was in my care, uh, he was okay whenever he left it, and after sometime after that fact is whenever he passed away. So it's like you have like this very terminal patient who like you observe, or you basically um, not scan, but like you're like looking to do like an exploratory thing on, and it's like an end stage terminal patient, and then you leave them and they're okay, and it's like, for all you know, like you could have done nothing at all and they could have died just the same. Like it's like the whole thing is ridiculous, especially given the fact that they called us down here because this thing is so far out of their scope. um that's where everything starts to go wrong and go poorly. um they send these guards down in red tactical gear and body armor. It's got this like nice little like lava insignia in it, or like lava like thing going to. I remember like the DM said is like more stylistic than it is like any kind of special property looking thing, which that seems like it goes along with the aesthetic of their underground nation that they have here. Um, and there's like a whole thing between Zug. I have to get Theremin up, and we work it out where like they kind of escort the guards around because the guards refuse to leave their weapons. The thing, and we just kind of get to talking, Miriam, Leary, and I, about like the situation that's going on, what we're gonna do. Do we continue with the research? I mean, you kind of do, but like we can't get access to anything new at this point because they're basically shut off, and it's like we're at the point where we're just like building a foundation of understanding for this disease, and like we're requesting things as needed as they come up. Um, we have a bit of an exchange with Sano, one of the guards. He's a little sarcastic ass because he's like, I'm gonna make sure you don't have any materials you're not supposed to have. I was like, how do you think we got these materials? Like, we requested and they were brought to us by your people. And he's like, I understand that. And it's like listen, dude, like put yourself in our shoes for just a second. Like we're outsiders far away from home, like on this mission of mercy that are like hundreds of feet underground, outnumbered, outgunned, and being tried as like criminals for like trying to help you. It's like you have to understand, like you're coming here saying, making sure you don't have anything that we're not supposed to have. It's like everything we've had up to this point, or everything that we've done has been through the permission of your people, and we've run it up that chain of command. And it's just like maybe we want to make extra sure that you understand that, like, you're not gonna like draw on us or anything like that. Like, where'd you get this confidential document to try to start shooting or something like that? Because we don't know. Like, he acted kind of like an arrogant ass over it, and it's just like, dude, like, we're backs against the wall here. We're outnumbered, we're outgunned, and you're looking to try us as criminals for trying to help you when you invited us here to help you. It's just like, I don't know. Like, I was definitely put off by that dude. Like, I was sad I couldn't zug him and start a international incident. Um, Cherim, she's the fourth assistant that we got assigned. She came in and she just delivered the food because she's not allowed to deliver any new information. We asked her about the new information, specifically the scans about Laku, and she's like, "I'll go see if I can make a request." Excuse me. And she's like, "Oh, she's like this pastry. Um, the she's like, I think it's your favorite, Miriam." And he's like, "I have a boyfriend." It's just like it's someone trying to do something nice for us, uh, in this time, and you're hitting her with that line and everything like that. And it was like, it was like partially funny, but also partially, like I said to like Miriam, I was like, I get it, I do. In the future, however, I was like, let's like before we were like kind of walking on eggshells, but now we're walking on glass when it comes to anything that we say or do. I was like, let's not try to alienate anyone who seems like they're actually trying to be nice to us. Now, she brings the food, and Cass and I, as a player, had this fleeting moment, like, oh my gosh, like, are they gonna start like poisoning our food? Like, is someone gonna try to assassinate us? Because, you know, I, as I was with the DM, I was like, Cass is not some conspiracy theory nut, but like, let's not forget that on his way here, he was kidnapped, beaten, and tortured to prevent coming here. So like, he's definitely getting a glimpse of the lengths people will go to stop this from happening. And I didn't think anything of it because it's like, oh, this is going to cause like panic. It's going to make Cass seem like more of a conspiracy theory nut. And then Miriam says, "Ow!" and like he pulls this capsule out of his mouth, and like my face just goes pale, and Cass's as well, because I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. Like, they poison the food, and, it's like, and at least like we're well suited to deal with the toxins. So it's like, I instantly go in, make sure there's no toxins or anything like that. And it seems like the capsule wasn't actually broken, but I was like, better safe than sorry, because who knows if it's like a little bit leaked out, like if it was coated in something, anything like that. But it's just like, I'm just like beyond upset at this point. And it turns out it's actually a capsule with something inside of it. So I go, I pull it out, or I care, like I said, I'm there with like gloves and a mask on, because like at this point, like, who knows what's going on? Like, it just as a precaution and everything like that. And Miriam's over his shoulder, like, with just nothing, like no mask or anything. Like, I was like, well, looking to see what's going on, and it's a message, and it says, "Find where the dark circles have gone." Now, there's a couple things here, as Lyria uh, rightfully pointed out. We can't assume that this message is benevolent, or that it's not, or that it's meant to lead us in the right direction. It might, but it also might not. And Cass said that's fair. Um, but the big thing that they had been getting into, which I don't know if Cherim had access to or had knowledge of, was um, the signature signs of Quarry energy are dark spots on the skin and dark circles under their eyes. And we've also run into some redacted stuff when it comes to just various things. Um, and I think there was like a little bit more redacted around that kind of area. I might be a little bit wrong on that, but I might be misremembering. But that was just one of those things that happened that the player did not take the best notes on. But it did happen. Like, there was redacted stuff. Oh, excuse me. um, so Cass's take on it is like, is it metaphorical, where uh is there some metaphor they're looking for, or is it talking about the dark circles receding, or is it talking about the placement of individuals with said dark, like with those symptoms, or that might show signs of Quarry energy? Um, that's what we need to figure out. So Lyria is going to look at that and look into the. She's basically going to do like the research on the dark circles. She's going to like isolate herself to that a little bit more. So Cass helps her out with um, just like kind of examining the note one last time to make sure like there's nothing hidden on it that they missed, like under a microscope. Do a little heat treatment, do like a little mild acid solution, like that kind of stuff, just to be sure, because you know like, as Cass, like, he even admitted to his team, he's like, I hate sounding like a conspiracy theorist here, but like there is a lot that's going on here that isn't adding up, or that is adding up, that points it in a very weird direction, like from this seeming more like an experiment than an outbreak, like a controlled infection of these individuals, to like being called here like the way that we were. I said I was still like a little being like called by name, when like I'm not the best that there is by a wide margin. Like, I'm not even the best there is in my facility, where I still work, but like where I want to leave from right now. But I guess the DM had said is like there was like a couple articles posted about me, about like kind of an up and comer in the medical world and everything like that. Like, I think I got like on the cover of a magazine at some point. So it's like, I guess like that was reason enough for that, but it was just like, man, like, it's just, there's just like way too much stuff going on for this to be like, it's like, it's one thing to treat it like a disease, but it's another that it's like there's way too many like red flags that have shown up along the way, that even if it's not Quarry, even if it's a bioengineered virus that like specifically is resistant to our techniques. I was like, here was my thought process with it was, um if they were looking to make a biological weapon, uh, maybe the test isn't so much with the kids. Now this doesn't exactly make sense because they did wait a long time, but if someone was looking to make a biological weapon, uh, we would generally be pretty good at fighting it. But if they were able to do it, that would make it resistive to our healing techniques, then that could be something that could be used against us, Nui proper. Um, so that's like just definitely something like at the back of one's mind. Whether, like I said, if it's just Quarry energy, then like you understand it's a technique. But like I said, there's a couple things that point towards it could be Quarry, and there's like one or two things that point towards it's not being. Like, Quarry is usually very fast acting, um, and I think the oldest case of this has been 407 days. Now they were placed into like a kind of stasis at some point, but um, I forget. I think I have somewhere in my notes like the stage one takes 20 to 40 days to go through. So that's a very long time from what I know about that to the progression of what Quarry energy is. So it's one of those ones where, is someone experimenting with Quarry? Is someone experimenting with a specific disease? I don't know. Like, it's still it. Anyway, the research going forward that I'm looking to do is is going to be to either confirm or deny, hopefully, the Quarry angle. If we can kind of confirm it, then we can move forward and approach it that way. If it's like a bioengineered virus, then that's another thing that we're gonna have to tackle. Like, which definitely not an all your eggs in one basket thing, but like at this point, like I was kind of full steam ahead on the Quarry thing, and I was explaining to the DM, I was like, this is to hopefully either confirm or rule it out. Like, it's not that Cass thinks like, oh, it's definitely this, but it's like there's enough signs pointing to it, and now with the mysterious note pointing towards that, it's like we're going to at least explore that possibility. It's not that we're all in on the idea that that's what it is. It's just that's what the direction we're going to confirm or deny it, trying to exclude any kind of personal bias towards it. Um, Lyria's looking into that. Uh, the Dark Circle specifically. Miriam's looking into connections to the Magnate. So I dropped the bomb on them because they said like this the oh, there was like some random paperwork was in there, which I don't think anything's random at this point, but it looked like some speeches from the Magnate, who was his name is Aramis, and I had talked to him personally. Um, and there was some very anti-Nui proper rhetoric. Sorry, like very much like evils of the world, like it's just like generally trashing us for the stuff that we've done in the past, which he's not entirely wrong, but he's like, would there any be reason like he'd have a personal stake in this? And I was like, if you guys happen to remember, like way back a year or so ago, the Magnate's son is one of the infected people, but I don't know that he's amongst the listed patients. Like he might be off the record, he might not be, but it wasn't explicitly said. Um, and he had asked me not to tell anybody this, so I had kept it to myself because at the time it didn't make sense to like betray his trust that way. But now that we're in this situation where we're going to be held as criminals, it seems like the best option to put all that stuff on the table. So I did so, and they're like, "Huh," and I never got his name, but I know where the Magnate. I think like the sector that he represents, um, and that's the way like their society is broken down. It was like to those. I think it's like 12 sectors or something like that. And I was like, well, if there is only one male in that thing, he did say it was his son. Then we can basically isolate that patient as to who they are and I like I don't know why Miriam really cares about it that much, but like just kind of yeah, just a thing that he's looking into. I'm specifically looking into a connection to violent outbursts, as well as other connections to the virus, to a virus versus quarry energy. That was just like and I had gone over that a little bit before because like um, I was thoroughly going over the knowledge I had of quarry energy. I'm like kind of trying to pick out little things. Like there was like mention of a group called the Blood Flower, which I was like, did anyone see anything like that? And I think Lyria said she might have saw some mention to it once, but like a flower or something like that. She didn't remember it was blood because like if you're pouring over hundreds of thousands of pages of research and you're not looking for something, uh, asking, hey, did you see something after the fact? Like because like the volume of research we're trying to go through is like we're trying to look at very specific things, and like everything else probably gets thrown away, not thrown away in a literal sense, but like as far as memory goes, like you're not looking to pick that out. But I kind of off the wall or off the off the chance that someone remembered, I mentioned that, and there was a couple other things. Uh Cherim comes back, and uh we'll have a meeting tomorrow. It's kind of a pre-trial so we can see if we can continue our research or versus being put to the stop, and that is where I'm put on pause. That was the end of the session, and I think the DM had said something about like, "Have you considered leaving?" And it's like, it was funny because I like my thought was up until this point, like the craziness of it. Um, we could still solve the problem. But once they started to put us on trial, specifically me on trial, if this trial goes well, I think that's going to be my initial request because like, it's just like, you know, we're here trapped underground behind what is apparently enemy lines, even though we're like, doctors without borders at this point, and I brought my team along with the idea that we would be doing a medical thing, not worrying about like fearing for our lives because people hate us. Um, it's like it's a very different thing between like having a small group of people who might want us here, like specifically the Magnate whose son is infected, versus like the masses of people who just hate us for things that our ancestors did to them. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I don't imagine it'll go well, but if the trial goes in our favor, I'll be like, listen, like we might be done here. Like I will give you all the information we've gathered. I will sit down with your experts and talk that out. But it's just like I kind of want to go home if this is the way things are gonna be done. But that's where I ended up, and hopefully we'll see. I put my hat in the thing for the next session on Sunday. We'll see if I get it.